This is going to be a video on how to make a fox blanket, which I think is kind of more for the advanced furrier, and it is a little quicker method than nailing out and blocking each skin separately. We're going to do it in one unit. So follow along and good luck. So what I did was, I'm making a silver fox blanket, and I took these silver fox and I trimmed them, took the heads off and the tails off, and then I kind of trimmed them to where the natural fall line comes. So I just did that all the way down on all of them. You can kind of see the what I trimmed it back to on this one. And then I sewed them all up, and I matched the cross shoulder area going across on each one, and I met the necks, of course, and I did my centers at the necks. And now what I'm going to do is, I've got it all joined up, and yes, it looks lumpy because that's what it is. But once I get this wet, I'm going to nail it, and it should fit on my board right here. So sometimes when you nail a fox, what happens is it's really thick down by the rump. So what I've done is I've put a piece of binding, and it's a bias tape binding, and I've just sewed that down in a couple of spots, like right across the center of the tail area where the rump is, right across the tail center, and then a little strip on each side of that. So when I stretch this, I've got something to nail into, because it gets so dense down here that it's hard to get the fur to like hold underneath a staple. So I'm gonna wet this, and then these measured average of 30 inches long and 9 inches wide at the shoulder. So I think I should be able to get, you know, a pretty good stretch on this. And I don't want to stretch the belly section, so I want to keep my stretch to, you know, the back area. So I'm going to hand stretch that after I get it wet. And then I'm going to block a grid on my table, and we'll see what happens after I get it all wet and hand stretched. So I'm starting to put the wetting solution on this. Usually I use ease leather that's mixed with water. It's a concentrate. It's a leather, I don't know, it's a leather softener. So what I'm going to do is I'm like wetting the main center back first. And then I'm going to hand stretch this quite a bit and see what I get out of it. And then I'm going to stretch, then I'm going to wet the bellies. So I haven't wet the bellies much because I don't want to overstretch my bellies. And I also did my necks. I wet my necks real well. So I'm going to finish wetting this, those portions that I said, not doing the bellies. I'm going to hand stretch this. Then I'm going to let it sit. Then I'm going to wet the bellies, and then we're going to start blocking it out. So I want to show you how I mark my grid before I start wet stretching and nailing my blanket. So this is my table. My table is about 70 inches long, and it's 48 wide. So I'm just going to use the center, or close to the center of that. So I draw a center line, and then I drew another line towards this end that was about, I think, 32 inches, and then I just kept on making my lines longer in case I exceeded that that length, so I could stay on track, both width and length. And then what I do is I make each one of these panels the same width. So I think this was 9 or maybe 10, I can't remember, but anyway, I make them the same width. So when I nail, I use a raised staple, And see, this raised staple, I can feel right through the leather of my fox or coyote or whatever. So I know that that line is where if I've got one coyote sewed to the next one and I want to have that seam line on this guide mark, on this guideline, I can feel that right there. And it's great. So anyway, it just kind of gives you an idea. If I had a smaller blanket, of course, I'd adjust my lines. If I had a beaver blanket and I was doing, you know, like smaller beaver skins, I'd make my line here and, you know, maybe down here. But it's just a matter of, it gives you a good basis to keep whatever you've got and whatever you're nailing in a symmetrical form. So I started in the center. This is 4 skins, so that's the center and that's the center. And I started on the center of my board, and then I came down and stapled it the length, came across to this corner and that corner, and then just kind of, well, I started at the center, and then I kind of stretched my way across to this corner. And then I did the same thing, coming back, stretched my way across to that corner. And then I did my center section here from the center over. Now I'm coming down and I'm going to do this side, starting at the center here and pulling down straight to the end of that end of the blanket at the center. Then I'm going to work my way out this side, and then I'm going to work my way out that side. So it looks like it's coming together pretty well. And yeah, so before it dries, I'm going to put tipping on my bellies and tipping on probably the center seam. But stay tuned and I'll show you what it looks like when I get it all down. Well, I've got it all down, and I think it looks overall pretty good. So I'm going to let it dry, of course, and then I'm going to do the tipping on the bellies all the way, you know, each join spot down. And, you know, this ribbon binding that I put on the bottom here really helped in getting this down here at the rumps nailed down. And I think that was a pretty good idea. I think I should have almost done it on the whole blanket. I did it on the sides up here by the neck, from the neck to the shoulders on each side. And that, you know, that was good. And I should have done it the whole length of the blanket. I don't know why I didn't. When I was thinking about it, I just thought, oh, I should just do it in that spot. But overall, this would be a great method. I've also done this with coyotes. And the worst that could happen is that you end up with a real thin spot on a belly, and you have to come back in with some pieces and, you know, maybe section in a small piece on the bellies. So we'll see what happens on this with, you know, how it turns out. One thing I do is a couple of stationary staples to keep my centers pretty centered. I, you know, put those in. I'm going to let them semi-dry where it's not going to dry all the way, and I'm going to pull those because I don't want big dimples in there. Yeah, so it's probably going to dry overnight, and then we'll have a discovery in the morning. It'll be fun. So I've got the tipping put down on the blanket, and I did, you know, like the bellies and then up near the shoulders, and let that dry, and then I'll square it next. So probably take about half an hour for that tipping to dry. So I have this all squared, and I really think it turned out nice. I've got to glaze it yet because, you know, some of the fur gets a little rumpled when it's on the board. But I think it looks beautiful. It measures, excuse me, 44 wide across by 64 long. So I think it is pretty good size. So now we're going to put the weft interfacing backing on, and that'll get stitched down, and then I'll put I'm going to use a quilted nylon backing on this. I have my weft interfacing on the leather side of my blanket, and what I do is I just take a long loose basting stitch on my fur machine to catch the fabric to the fur, and then I smooth that out so it lays real flat. So I go around, I don't know, you can see where this thread is, about 1.5 feet. This isn't a real big blanket, so it went pretty quick. After I've got that done, I fold the edge so that when I catch my batting, this is what I'm going to be putting on. It's a nylon that's quilted, that's got the batting in it. So when I put that on, I'm going to be catching the batting, this weft, and the fur all in that one seam on the edge. So the next step I did was I went and I pressed this edge back on my batting. You have to be careful. You don't want to touch this polyester stuff or it'll melt. So you just do just the edge, or I did just the edge. I suggest to do that. And then what I'm going to do is turn this completely like inside out, and I'll sew this edge on first, and then I'm going to sew the bottom edge up there. So I'm going to do like half of the blanket, one long edge and then one short edge, and then I'm going to turn it again and kind of like, you know, smooth it out to get where my other edge seam is going to be for sure. When I do this, what I like to do is I like, once it's turned or sewed, that this turn edge comes over the edge just a little bit. So it rolls just past that edge. I don't want it on the inside because I don't want it too tight. And I like when it's turned just a little bit to this side, so it gives it a little bit of cush, and it kind of protects the fur on that edge, so it doesn't rub on the, so it doesn't rub and it doesn't wear out. So we're going to do that next. Sew this edge down, and I'm going to press this other end, the short end, on the batting, and then I'm going to start sewing. I just want to go over how this looks after I've got my quilted backing finished. So, you know, it's lovely. And this is how my backing looks. So it's all connected all the way around, and I did my long sides first. So the length first on this side, and then I did the short side. So I did 1/2 of it like a L. Then I laid it down, turned it around, patted out the excess, went to the opposite side, pressed that side once I knew where I was going to sew it, and did that side and the other end. And what I do is I leave an opening on one end, and I use a satin binding, and I sew that satin binding to the fur, and then that gives me a pocket opening that I can open and close my blanket from. So it's like I'm sewing my whole blanket inside out, and then I turn it through this opening. Now this was a thick fur, so I think I left an opening of about probably 14 inches. And then you just take your binding and you slip stitch that down on the inside, and you take your fabric and you bring that over the edge, and then you just hand stitch that shut. so you don't see it, you don't notice it, and it gives you a good closure. After I've got that done, what I do is I come around, and about 1 inch from the edge, I do a hidden stitch. Not real tight, but it's tight enough to secure the backing to the weft that's inside. And sometimes I catch a little bit of the leather on the fur too. But it's more important to catch the weft. And what it's doing is it's making this whole lining kind of like secure to all 3 thicknesses. And so it moves as one unit. Now, after I've done that, I come back and I pin it several spots, like probably about 1.5 feet from each corner. And I did this area right here. And then I did another area up there. And I had just had this folded, so it has a little bit of a crease line there. But anyway, then what I do is I just come through and I do a hidden stitch on this stitch line. And if you want to go around, 2-block area or however you want to do it, but you just want to stitch through, catch the weft, and then your blanket will move as one piece. It won't be like a duvet where everything shifts and it gets all wonky and it doesn't lay nice. I have a couple other videos that I've done in blankets that I go to a little bit more in depth on how this is done. But it finished up beautiful, and I think it's a really, really stunning fur. So our project is all completed, and it looks lush. It finished at 42 inches wide and 64 inches long. So I think it turned out pretty nice. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and share it.